for myself, retaking it was my blessing, because what ultimately ended up happening for me was that I was able to get a few scholarships to different schools that I know that I would not have been able to get with my last score. So it just kind of depends, rolling the dice. But say all that to say, I think that if you plan to retake it, you should plan to change something significantly from something you did study-wise from the first time to the second time. And if you aren't planning to put in more time, put in more work, and really take that effort more seriously, I don't think it's worth it. But if you are willing to do that, then I think that it can be worth it.
I would definitely agree with the last thing you said about changing your approach, putting in the time for a retake. I have a slightly different take on the first part of what you said, though, because in my discussions with law schools and just my research on this, law schools do not average multiple scores. They only take the highest, with the exception of maybe a few Canadian law schools, but pretty much every law school in the United States takes the highest score. Of course, they can see them all, and it's better to have just like a 170 rather than a 150 followed by a 170. But since they're not averaging, because of the US News rankings only requiring the highest for the American Bar Association.
Okay, that's great. Now that must be a big change, because when I took, and again, now I'm old now.
Dating ourselves again, right?
But that's a huge change. So that's great. So that actually works in the favor of the law students. And
exactly. It's amazing. And this change, the funny thing is that law schools still kind of spread this misinformation around this because they like the idea of holistic review. It sounds really nice. It sounds more, maybe more fair in some ways, but really the facts are that law schools submit the highest LSAT score of their matriculating students to the American Bar Association, who in turn provides that info to US News, and admissions is all about the US News rankings.
Yeah, I know. I am very familiar with the ranking system. Well, it makes sense though, if the schools are trying to improve their own rankings, that they would only take the highest score, because they're like, oh, all of our applicants have an average score of X.
Thanks for tuning into the show. Please subscribe if you haven't done so already to be notified of new episodes as I release them. And feel free to reach out if you need anything at all as you move forward with your prep. I'm happy to help however I can. In the meantime, I wish you all the best and take care.